for people to even have that emotional intimacy, into me you see, intimacy, right? Is I have to be able to feel safe.
Right.
I have to be able to get vulnerable with you. And if one partner cannot get vulnerable with the other, it's hard for them to express and be transparent and share what is it that is really going on with them.
Chat over popcorn starts now.
Learning the love language of your partner is important. Words of affirmation, some love gifts. If your wife doesn't love gift, I remember my wife, she loves helping out, talking to her. I like gifts, so when we married first, when you are coming from Africa, you have that mentality that to be prosperous, you have to drive Mercedes and all that stuff.
Okay.
So I have that picture. And I remember when I started a job as a realtor, the first deal I had, I think about 40,000 or something. Guess what I did? Straight away, I went to the Mercedes. My wife, she's just a simple, God-fearing, practical lady. She picked up the phone and called the Mercedes people. My husband is coming. I told him not to come, but man, he's coming. When he gets there, don't sell him any Mercedes. Describe. So when I got there, they said, "You, Henry?" I said, "Yeah." So your wife called and we shouldn't say that. I said, "Make a choice. You're not the only Mercedes here. There's a couple of them on the road. I can go there. Yeah, we got you. We got you." So what am I trying to communicate? If her idea is not fanciness, don't give it to her.
Right.
Because you will be making any road.
It is true. Like for me, I do not like flowers.
Okay.
And Niddle knows that.
Okay.
And when we first met.
What is it about flowers that you don't like?
I think I'll tell you later. But, just like a guy, right? At the time I'm 22, he is, 26, 7 or whatever.
Right.
And you think to be romantic, I'm going to buy her flowers.
There you go.
And after 2 flowers, I sat him down and said, "Listen, honey.
Don't waste no flowers.
Don't give me flowers." Or he will go buy necklace.
Okay.
Anybody that knows me, if you ever see me with a necklace, you let me know. Because I do not like necklace, right? But he will go to, the jewelry store, go buy. I have a couple of necklaces that I've never worn. And it's one of these, I'm going to take it to the pawn shop.
There you go and pawn it out.
But I had to tell him. Right? But I told him that, listen, don't get me flowers.
Okay.
I'm not. But some other women, they love flowers. You don't give them flowers, it's a problem.
Right.
You don't love me. But to me, you give me flowers. What? I've told you 9 years ago I don't like flowers. So now he understands not to give me flowers.
There you go.
I like other things.
That's right.
Other things that I like, and I've told him what I like, and so
he knows.
He does that. He knows that he does that. So I appreciate you saying that. People need to understand the love language, but then individuals also have to hear it, right? They have to listen and honor it. Because if you don't honor it, and let's say every time I come home there's flowers, that's gonna piss me off.
It is.
Because you're not listening to me.
And that is the problem with men, because they think they're doing everything. I'm doing everything for this woman. I built her house. I did this. She doesn't appreciate. That is not her love language. Figure out what her love language. Some women, all they need is a quality time.
Yes.
Sit them down.
Yes.
When we say quality time, it just means engaging.
Engage, yes.
You forgot everything in the world except concentrate on. It makes them grow.
Yes.
It makes them feel a sense of belonging.
Yes.
And the fact that they appreciate it.
Yes.
So these are some of the things that is killing us. And if we can learn the love languages of each other. Some women, all they want is you wake up early in the morning, you go to the shower with all the mess, "I love you." She comes in there, sees that.
Oh
she's
my
in a
God,
glow.
she's done.
Pick up a pillow, under it, there is a small, card. "Honey, I can't do anything without you."
Yeah.
And you mean it. With some drawing, and that opens them up.
Right. And that alone is building emotional intimacy, emotional connection. But, for people who are in a relationship, in a marriage where they feel alone because their partner has checked out.
Okay.
They have checked out. They've done everything.
Right.
There's nothing that is bringing their partner back. But, they are emotionally unavailable.
Yeah.
How do they heal from that?
Honestly speaking, for that to happen, there is a cause. There's always a reason for that to happen. So you just want to go back to the days that you met. I'm sure that it will be very hard to, on your date, if you realize your spouse or your partner to be that you are dating is emotionally checked out, for you to carry it to another level. You won't do that.
Some people have done it.
Some people have done it. They must be magical.
Thinking that the person will change. For some reason, people think that marriage changes individuals. Yeah. But all that marriage does is it amplifies whatever your problem.
But honestly, wouldn't there be at least an iota or a little basis for you to build on?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Imagine we go on a date. You go in the, who do you think you are? And then there's a fight. And the person leaves. The probability that if this continues and become a pattern, you guys are going to get together, it's a little bit, I know people sacrifice and do things that is out of the old, that is there. But when it comes to emotional connectivity, there has to be a basis for it, So this is what I would say. Now, number one, sit down, figure out what went wrong along the path.
Where did we stop talking or connecting? Yeah.
And honesty is the best policy. Being honest about something. They said understanding the question is half the solution. And then you should also care about the person enough.
Right.
Sometimes what a woman or a man is waiting for is an affection, a care, a fact that you care.
Or just even acknowledge and validate their feelings, whatever it is.
I heard this sad story of a woman who was married, and busyness of life was so much that when he was coming in, she probably was leaving. So they didn't get to, have that emotional intelligence working. Not knowing the woman has been diagnosed, with cancer for 6 months. And these people have been sleeping on the same bed.
And he had no clue.
He had no idea.
Yeah.
Had no idea. And the wives also didn't want to alarm the husband. So the time the doctor gave that at this time you are about to die.
So that is so interesting though, Pastor, because, when we talk about emotional intimacy.
Right.
And that is the part that I want to stress about, right? Is for people to even have that emotional intimacy. Into me, you see, there intimacy, right? Is I have to be able to feel safe.
Right.
I have to be able to get vulnerable with you.
Right.
And if one partner cannot get vulnerable with the other, it's hard for them to express and be transparent and share what is it that is really going on with them. Right? So you use this classic example. Lady get diagnosed with cancer, husband have no idea. The question becomes, how come he had no idea? Did he not have an idea because he just don't care? Talk about this whole indifferent thing, or certain things, situations, experiences, scenarios have happened in their life together that have caused the lady to withdraw and hold back information because maybe once upon a time she shared something and it was not well received, and because it wasn't received well, she didn't like the response she got, and so now she refuses to even share moving forward any information that actually in this case would affect the husband too, because it's an illness.
Right.
And both parties are going to shoulder this responsibility. Right. Somebody got to take care of this lady, if and when she gets to a position where she's unable to take care of herself.
No. And life is such that people know how to balance equations. You know, I'm trying to find the best way to put it. But once you're living with somebody, you automatically know how to live at peace, quote unquote, with that person. If somebody don't want to be bothered, you know. Automatically you build your own nest as to how to communicate. So for this woman to go through such a disaster, so to speak,
an ordeal,
and keep it from the husband, sleeping on the same bed for 6 months, and for the husband even not to have the inkling or the feeling that there's something wrong with my wife. I wouldn't be surprised if he is the cause of the cancer, the stress.
He is the cancer.
He couldn't have said it any better.
He is the cancer.
You know, and people die slowly from this kind of instances. You know, where there is emotional detachment. You know, and they feel like they are alone in this world. There's nobody to care. So I might as well die. I might as well check out.
And there's nothing worse than feeling alone in a marriage.
Emotional connectivity is not something that is given for free, so to speak. What God does is he gives us the basis or the seed. Our job is to be intentional about it. It's just like a farmer. You need to get a piece of land, cultivate it, sow the seed, make sure there's some rain falling on it, and all those factors in order for it to grow. So the reason why married people sometimes experience emotional drain is that, number one, their concept of emotional connectivity is that it happens automatically, but it doesn't.
You have to work it.
You have to work it. Yeah. So what people need to do is find an emotional connection. Some of them are just talking to your partner.
And you build it.
Build it. You know, it builds itself, but you got to initiate it. Some of it is just a genuine care for the person. Problems comes, but it's not a problem that makes the difference. It's how you deal with the problem.
Right.
So finding out about genuinely how your partner is feeling, those little things go in a long way to lay a foundation for that emotional connectivity.
Yeah. And I think naturally, if you truly cares about somebody,
right,
you are going to make the conscious effort to build on that emotional connection. I like the fact that you said it doesn't automatically happen, right? Just because you marry someone doesn't mean you are emotionally connected to that person. And actually you can be emotionally connected to somebody and over time you can drift apart if you do not nurture it, right? So classic example. Talk about making sure one of the means is through communication. But for couples who do not check in throughout the day, you are spending 8 hours, 10 hours at your job places. You are dealing with all kinds of external factors and forces and, you know, things that are affecting and bombarding your day-to-day job. So when you come home and you are exhausted, you don't have the time to connect with your spouse. And because you haven't connected with your spouse during the whole day, how is your spouse going to pick up your energy to even know where to start? They have no gauge of where you are emotionally to even tap into that.
What a practical way to describe what is going on nowadays. And it's affecting all kind of relationship. But listen, there's always solution. And I want to look at it from two angles. I want to lay the basis for the theory, and then I'll come to the practical part. There is this concept called emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence, simply put, is the ability to feel each other, as you were saying, and determine where each other is emotionally. You know, so you can look at your spouse, your children, or family at large, and if your emotional intelligence is working really good, You have a sense that things are not right just by the way they carry themselves, the way they talk. And what emotional intelligence does is that it gives you the platform to be able to connect with your better half, who has been given to you by God to make your roses grow, to make your garden, be beautiful. Now, I say there are two relationships in this world. That with God. And if you take God out, the next one is with your spouse. They are the pillar, and statistics prove it a lot. Now, how do you do practically in order to keep this moving? There are about 10 of them, but I'll probably talk about a few. The first one is that you cannot give what you don't have.
Right. That emotional capacity.
Very, very important. Yeah. But it all starts also with building a capacity for you have to be healthy. So it starts off with partners who understand that it starts with a good physical body, a sound mind, and a great spirit. And how do you do it? You should plan to exercise together. Keep yourself healthy. That's the basis.
Oh, yeah. Physical dimension of wellness, that is key.
And these are all interconnected. So with that, then the next level is also ability to listen. Sometimes people complain that my spouse doesn't want to listen to me.
Yeah.
But if you break it down, the reason is that you don't want to listen. Because life is such that whatever you give gets back to you.
Like energy. Energy flow, yeah.
Right. So if you have that to be able to listen, you also listen to, And then there is other things like understanding that nowadays, communication is not just verbal.
Yes.
Communication is the way you carry yourself, a look, a gesture. It communicates a lot. So let people understand, teach people to know, to take charge of their communication method.
Right. Right. Because even, just to add into that, if you have a strong emotional connection with somebody, in this case your spouse, you both can be on the couch and you will feel comfortable with the silence, right? There's a lot of people who get very awkward when there is no exchange of verbal communication. People feel like we should always be talking. But if there is a strong emotional intimacy between you guys, you both can relax on the couch and the energy just feels right. When the energy feels off when you are both quiet, that's a red flag.
That's right.
You should be looking into why is there a tension or a weird energy if you are, when you are married, you're going to argue with your spouse. You're going to fight a little bit, right? And if you think about the days that you guys argue and you are both silent, that awkward energy that's in the air, it's like, it's very, very unsettling. But take out argument out of this equation. If you are not arguing and everything is good and you are both emotionally connected, then talk about non-verbal cues, it's not a problem.
Thank you for watching this episode. To continue with the conversation, subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell or notification button to be notified every time new videos get uploaded. Also, click thumbs up to like the video and follow our Instagram and Facebook pages to catch up on all the conversations.